Good afternoon, all. So, hope I'm audible and my screen is visible. Wonderful. She's saying good afternoon. Vigneshwaran, thank you. Ramya, thank you. Abhishek saying good afternoon. So, I think only three people are there in the class. Okay. So, Ashish Rahul, good afternoon. Anyhow, so let me introduce myself. I am Dr. Raghavendra T.S. Presently working as an associate professor in S. Vyasa deemed to be university. I have totally 20 plus years of the academic teaching experience where I happen to deliver content majorly for engineering stream and served in various capacities and various responsibilities I've taken. So and associated with bits for WILP program from past 13 years, so 13 or 14 years. I'm continuously associated with that, and especially for Wipro. Okay, so and being associated, so there are a lot of changes I'm seeing from offline to online. Okay, so hope you never had any offline classes till now, I guess. Did you people had any offline classes till today?
No, sir.
Oh, wait, right. So there was the days before Corona, so that entire class strength, nearly 100, right? So it'll be all of them used to be sitting in the hall, and we used to deliver the class for 2 hours and engaging them. So it was wonderful time those days. But Corona has made your work life as well as your study life both sitting at the same place, working and things. So possibly you're not getting enough exposure to that environment where you could able to see that work for entire 4 or 5 days and be a student on the rest of the days, right? So where I could see that there's a kind of, even though you're an employee for 5 days, but I could see that everyone used to enjoy that student life being in the campus. But so it's nothing we can do or you can do. If it is a time comes, if they start, so well and good. But still, the other way around, for some people, it is good that they're sitting at home and they're just doing it. But learning, is it happening 100%? So I'm not sure about that. Even you're not sure about that. But at least in a class, if there is something, we'll be having a interactive, we could able to see face to each other. But here I could able to see myself. Okay, so because on the screen, who is visible is only me. Apart from the two faces I could able to see, one is Abhishek Singh, the other one is Nayan Rajesh Komase. So some, I think so, it's a girl, I guess. Only these faces are visible. One more face is Laksha Luthra and um, Surabhi and Divya Chitral. Okay. So these are the faces which are visible. At least they have kept their DP. So other than that, I'm the alone who is just there in the class. I feel like is that so the number shows 63, right? But hardly some people have responded now. Uh, Shruti has said good afternoon. Ajay Manoj Guddi has said good afternoon. Nayan Rajesh Komasi said good afternoon. So good afternoon to all of you. Right. So there are passive students are also there. So they're also listening, but they don't want to do anything as responding or anything as such. But still, good afternoon to everyone. So that is a small introduction of mine. So we can't have an introduction of all of you, so that it will take 2 hours. So let's not just get into that. So let's we have a constraint on the number of hours we have, number of things we have. So that let's restrict and just proceed with that. Uh, so I think the subject which we are teaching, or which has been for you from my end, the subject is called as SDPD. What is this SDPD? Can I have some answers from somebody? What you understood from this title? Software development for portable devices. Which is your portable device, which you are all using?
Mobile camera.
Mobile camera, laptop, smartwatches, right? Wearable devices, wearable electronic devices, and many more, right? So these are all said to be the portable device. So our objective here from this subject, what we learn, we will try to write some applications, right? So some programs which could help us to utilize those devices for a specific task, so that our work would be easier. Okay, majorly we're going to use an operating system called as Android, which is the one we're going to use here to build an application for the Android devices. Okay, so that is a major part where we come across with the lab sessions. But until then, we will be just talking about some of the things, which is the what is wearable devices and all these things. Okay, so majorly we will talk about them, and we'll try to address those things. Okay, so another objective for me is that I have to introduce the course content for you. Oh, yeah, my Word document is visible, right? Yes, now it's done. Yeah. All right. So just title of the course is that it's software development for portable devices. Okay. So this has a credit structure which is three. So it says the 3 1 1 1 1. So total 3 units credits. 1 unit for the class lab lecture, 1 unit for your lab hour, and 1 unit for your preparation. So typically 1 unit means it's 32 hours of total class. So that's uh, total 32 hours. So we'll be covering them in 2 hours, so in 16 hours. Okay. So this is a course objective. So we'll be able to understand what is mobile technology and what are the challenges in building the and understanding and building or developing a ubiquitous environment for them, and application development platform for these devices, such as which is said to be a portable devices, and use them. Understand mobile application architecture as well as its components. Okay, so this is a textbook for that. So professional Android 4 application development, so very old application, old textbook, but right now there's nothing which we require. So we get most of them on the Google itself. So there are totally 8 modules are there. The entire uh, contents which has been divided into 8 modules. Okay, so but we'll be having a refined version of that, which will be going with the session wise. Okay, so every hour, 1 hour, so which will be talking about the contents, which the introduction to software development for portable devices, overview of those devices, and hardware and software for these devices, and applications of portable devices. So this is what we're going to talk about in the first session. So then the second session will be talking about more on that elaborative through hardware platforms, software platforms, where we go deeper into the processes, peripheral devices, and many of them. Likewise, we're going to talk and we talk about something called as these portable devices. Every portable device which is a have a processor. So that processor has been to make it work. We require a platform. So the platform we call as a motherboard here. So we will be having such a platform which configures everything together is called as Raspberry Pi. So what it is, how those things are, we're going to talk about them. Then we talk about sensors and portable devices, generic hardware platforms. So then we'll come to the software. That till then it'll talk about the hardware part. So then we'll talk about the software part, where we talk about operating system, what is different mobile platforms and their frameworks, right? And then what are the development platforms for development tools, and then programming languages which has been supported for them. Then we talk about simulator and emulator, the comparison between them, how do they differ in that working nature, and we talk about software development kit and development environments and the life cycle of those application development. So we will just talk about all these things session by session. So from session 7, we start building a very first application. How do we start them? How what is this Android? How does it look like? And what are things? We're going to start from there with the very first application, introducing the application manifest file, creating application and activities. So then what are the patterns we'll be following for them to build the application? Review of the other architecture and design patterns, the Android the application lifecycle. So then user interface. So how do we build an application with user interfaces, and then layouts, and then fragments. What is meant by intent and broadcast, right? Introducing the intent, creating intent filters and broadcast receivers, background services and using internet resources, right? So threads and internet resources, things like we're going to talk about, and how do we process the files, and how do we preserve those states and then access them, the preferences, which is said to be shared preferences. And then we're going to talk about the database and the content providers, So then we talk about location-based services, telephony and SMS. How do we access maybe a geolocations, or how do we access how do we make a call configuration and SMS, or sending SMS or receiving SMS, like these things we're going to talk about here. Okay, and then we're going to talk about some sensor-based applications. Then the external devices such as like to make it so maybe audio, video, right? So all those things, and how do we use the camera for your application? So these things we're going to discuss one by one. So these are all things which is there. We're going to just talk about in the session by session, and in every module, whatever we go ahead, so it will also have some lab component. Okay, so we will be covering those lab components along with practical. That is, as I mentioned, with the implementation of those functions or applications, right? So we'll be talking about them one by one in every session. So I will demonstrate them, and I will try to ensure that all these things are being captured, and possibly whatever the system facility you have, you do also need to implement some applications. Hope if you have a provision, okay, and then you have to demonstrate them. Right, so this is the course introduction and the evaluation pattern, all these things. You know, you have a midterm and the interim exam, and then you'll have the quiz will be conducted from the session 3 or 4 onwards, and that will also be consolidated, and you'll have assignments also, or the lab practicals which has been given. So you just need to demonstrate them also, so that all those things will help us to award the marks for you, right? So this is your course handout. Mm. So let's proceed for this session. So where session one, today we're going to talk about this course handout, the contact session. So we'll be talking about handout evaluation and those things, portability, the quality attributes of this both software as well as hardware, and the architectures. So specific domains and application areas, and then development life cycle of products in various domains. So this is the objective. So of the course, like already said, the mobile technology and challenges in developing ubiquitous network environment. How do we build the application, or the understanding those platform and the other things? Understand mobile application architecture and its components. So we'll have module one, module two, module three, the entire content. So that already we said that this is what we're going to be talking in module wise and the session wise. Okay. So record like labs will be there, and the self-learning exercises will be there. Discussion on self-training exercises will also be. So conduct session, so where you have to be lab description, so things like you'll be having record lectures which you have to go through that and learn that. So self-training exercises are like you're going to have session 4 onwards where you're going to start your practical, so then you'll have to do that. So CS4 will have Android platform and development environment, and then basic components of the Android applications, which is being used how to create application and intent class and permissions and creating user interface. All these things are self-learning components. So evaluation quiz 1, so assignment 1, quiz 2, quiz 3 will be there. Mid-semester test will be there, which is a closed book where for 2 hours, and comprehensive exam for 2 hours, which is 40%. So as overall lab activity must be documented by the student. So this activity will start after session 5. The details for submission will be discussed as and when. Evaluation will be shared based on interaction on the assignment during the contact session. So these are learning outcomes. So what it could get is uh, the analyzed mobile app architectures available and the impact of the choice on solution, and the ability to design and develop my applications to exploit the potentials of mobile devices and cloud-based ecosystem, and then acquire skills for creating and deploying mobile applications on Android with emphasis on understanding platforms, tools, and developing. So before you come to this class, you should be knowing or you should have to gone through what is meant by sdpd or introduction to that, and then two views of that and overview of this portable devices and the other things like this. Right. So let us proceed to understand on what is meant by portable. Portable device or anything which is said to be portable. That means it cannot be fixed at a particular position or a place, right? A device which can be carried along with as we move on, right? As we proceed. So wherever we just go and we can have that device with us, which is called as a device is said to be portable. So, such as like example, uh, the ECG devices or EKG, so which tend to be nowadays you're getting it, and the handheld measurement devices could be the oscilloscope or things like nowadays the DSLR, so digital cameras, which has been available, right, and GPS devices for accessing the location. Now UPI payments through the electronic payment devices and mobile phones, which is going to work with an operating system, which is Firefox, Windows, or Android. So then you'll have a tablet, which is Ubuntu tablet, or it could be Android, anything as such. When you talk about portable, so yes, it is best example is your mobile phone, right? So what are the characteristics of these portable devices? The characteristics could be it's small in size. The first very uh, generic reason for that is portable because it is very small in size, where you can just hold in your hand or with your fingers and you can carry it. So it's very small. Handheld, so that is you can operate everything through your just holding on your hand, right? So which has the keyboard where you can provide the input by connecting an external device or maybe an internal available keyboard which is built in with every Android operating system, right? So when you look at your phone right now, what you have, right? So please, if you check that, is there a keyboard attached to that? No, it doesn't explicitly visible to anyone. But if you open a text box, automatically the remaining uh, uh, the keyboard will appear to you where you can start typing your content and can utilize them. So which is uh, uh, one of the reason which we said it is um, portable. And it has a display which is every device will have a display that the display would not be very big in sizes, it will be very small, right? And communication, so which is going to connect through Wi-Fi or it could be connect through uh, Bluetooth, or it could be connected through GPS and many more. Right. Then there are the sensors, like you can just look at your device itself. The device has at least a few sensors, if not everything. It'll have a temperature sensor, it have a orientation sensor, right? So you'll have many such sensors which are there, which could be making them more portable and accessible. And every portable device will not run by itself, so which is requires always a help of an operating system. So this operating system is completely deployed onto this the portable device, or what you call is a system itself, right? So we're going to start them with the help of a small battery and then run it. So where it could run an operating system, which is a very lightweight operating system and set of applications. For any device you consider, so there will be a attributes, a quality attributes, which is completely used in order to measure, right? So those are like quality attributes of this hardware will be the embedded systems are like they're enormous, right? So there's no only dedicated or a fixed number. So they can change and they can bring in a lot of ideas, which could help us to go ahead to make the life of human being more easier. So in that way, if you say that the uh, devices which are said to be portable will have uh, uh, a system which is going to run that operating system, which is called as uh, which is said to be enormous, right? So there's no restriction, there's no small set. Advances in the hardware which uh, can provide the entire um, Soumya, you could. Right. So since the advancement in the hardware, right? So I have a mobile phone which is going to work nothing less than my laptop. Do you agree this? Do you agree this? Yes, sir. But okay, so I was talking about this the hardware, right? So earlier, if you want to do or MS Word, right? If you want to process a document, right? So you are entirely dependent on a computer. But today, is it the same case which you have to depend on a computer? Can't we do that on my mobile? Yes, it's entirely possible. Earlier, you wanted to do conduct a meeting, right? So if it is an online meeting, possibly a WebEx meeting or so everything was on a mobile phone, or you require a laptop or a desktop, then only you could able to do that. But today it is not the case. I just have a mobile phone. I don't need to wait for anyone. I don't need to wait for a power supply or anything. So I have a internet in my device. I be able to connect anywhere I'm sitting. So advances in software. So it is your work has become more easier because of this, the advancement in the technologies as well as usage of those devices, which is again making more the work more easier, right? With a set of applications available, that is software, which is versatile. It is gives that since we have all these things, it is going to give us more opportunity to elaborate and build more thing or a bigger in numbers. Okay, so it's going to give you an opportunity or the wings to open and try to understand more. Okay, so what is the motivation for this SDPD, right? So as the key attributes, what is the key quality attributes? Which is enormous, ubiquitous, it is portable, it is versatile, it is numerous. Now, what is the motivation for this? So the portable or any product which is done, which is portable, so one-time activity, right? So software platforms and software applications which can brought into that and make them live, so that will become more easier and make the life of a human being or somebody who is dependent, so will become more easier. So example, a mobile hardware product platform or a various software platforms and applications, right? So what are the opportunities it creates? So it's going to give you an exciting set of opportunities in both the software and application development. So one is the creativity, the innovation, the application, the advancement in the technologies to be utilized or making a better usage of that application and betterment and making as such. So the characteristics of this portability devices, since it is portable, obviously the size of that will be small, right? And obviously the size of, since it's small, the weight of that will also be very negligible. It is in a sense that any portable device cannot weigh more than 100 or 100 sorry 1,000 grams, right? So it will be lesser than that or maybe nearly to that. So that's not a bigger weight it is going to carry. So and since we have a battery, once you charge it, it can be used wherever you are. There's no need to always you need to stick onto a power socket and just kind of get connected to it. And it is going to be evolved. It is from a single operating operation embedded system to a multiple operations. So where a clear distinction has been expressed here. What is that? So when we say that it is uh, an application, an embedded system is dedicated. That means it is intended to perform only a specific task, right? A specific designated operation only it will perform. But whereas the nowadays the applications which are there or a mobile phone or the portable devices which are coming, which have been evolved, have become more and more widespread. They are not just only a narrow applications. They are broad applications such that even they can do a multiple task. So making these software platforms and software development tools which are available today will make us our work more easier, because even writing an application or writing a program is not a biggest task. Only thing is that you should define a proper architecture for that. So that's the only thing which is your major concern, and design them properly so that you are 100% with that. Okay, so ensure that they are. So it should be matured, it should be evolved significantly and made the development life cycle easy. So the application areas which may not be restricted to only a specific thing, which could be multidisciplinary. Okay, so or it could be said as interdisciplinary. When we talk about the interdisciplinary, so that application which just not only a commercialized application, it could be a fitness application. So there's no domain which is internally fixed for it so that the domain can vary and it can proceed for various things. Uh, and the expertise of these things, which is going to give us the depth of that. So from the depth, so that's going to give us more clarity on what exactly we wanted to do and what we exactly wanted to achieve it. So it's going to give you a large canvas, which is going to be a complex thing. Right? So where we have a different views of this application or portable devices, which is software developer, there should be a hardware engineer, there should be a solution developer, a product designer, and the customer use. So wide and deep world of portable devices, right? Understand and appreciate the other than the software area, and they focus on and dive deeper in software development. So the advanced and evolved hardware and software platforms of today have unlocked the boundaries of the possibilities, right? Enabling innovations that were once maybe unimagined. So a portable device with an example. Jivek, Jivek, you could stand table, study table. So a portable devices, which just considering one simple example as a smartphone, right? So which has various the components which has been associated with that phone, right? So starting from sensors, the accessibility, the connectivities are there, data network and power management, processor, memory, software and applications and communications, the security environment, the video and audio, photography, navigation, sharing and internet, form factors, keys and impact, methods, display and user interfaces, and the different dimensions of it. So this are just considering one of the device, which is Nokia, so which has been taken as a thing where it has all these things together, building that phone. So which today uh, uh, possibly not sustained in the market. Right? The smartphone has advanced design. So today's devices are coming with they're very the hardware which has been used inside them is very very uh, powerful in terms of the key in terms of uh, the mobile phones which are considered. So advanced designs are there, very capable hardware, right? And which is very advanced, adaptable, and easy to use software applications, which is just by his fingertips you could able to operate everything. So that is making your application writing an application more easier for you. So an ecosystem, so which has the combination of cloud and Buster as well as the cloud server and things like that. So your applications are there, your cloud, the servers which has been located in the cloud, right, or your real-time environments, all these things. A companion, a mobile phone which is already set to be the meaning of this statement. It has become a companion. So you can live without anything, but you can't live without a mobile phone. So that's a meaning. Or that means it's very simple that we are addicted to it. A software platforms which has a different layers, so which is going to work, right? So which is going to interact with the hardware, right, with the help of the core drivers or the kernel, and there'll be a core applications which has been associated with the operating system, and then a different frameworks which has been enabled for you to build and use your applications, which is at the top layer. a processor and hardware. So a processor will come with a CPU, right, which is a and also a graphical processing unit, right. So it also has a connectivity with Wi-Fi or maybe another things. A location will be there to track it and display LCD. So the camera will be there, right? The camera not. There will be a set of sensors. Ecosystem is a set of businesses, activities, and solutions that will enable ultimately and support each other to automate the interactions and process to create a services for the user. What are the attributes which are like said to be, which is said to be an enabler, going to act as an intermediary and going to resolve the things, and then which is going to be efficient, which we have to restrict on the usage. So which could be enablers. It the applications what we write or the ecosystem it's going to give it's going to make it as a facilitator. Okay, so which is an efficient uh, ecosystem, so which is highly capable and flexible as well as more fast. So the exam it's going to be started. So things like go with mobile developers and everyone together has to work to achieve a common goal. Okay, so as it is said, so it could be for any one of them which going to have the ecosystem. So another use in a specific domains and application areas, right? So we're going to talk about hardware platform, where we consider one of the processor or a motherboard which comes with a processor, which is called a Raspberry Pi. So which has various different varieties are there. So which comes with a processor, which is called a BCM3835 application processor. 512 MB RAM will be there. General purpose IO will have 40 pins in it, and USB will be there with a 4 GB RAM. Uh, Micro SD where you can have a extension or expansion of your memory, so with the help of a micro SD. So lower power consumption, so reduce the power consumption by between, because this board cannot have a battery, that power supply has to be given for it. So that power supply reduce power consumption by between the voltage or the watt. So it could be zero point 0.5 to 1 watt only. But that doesn't come with a battery, so it has to be continuously powered on with a cable. So that only it also provision for the I/O with for audio and video also, and there's a clear neater form factor. So align the USB connectors with the board edge composite video onto the 3.5 uh, jack and a four separately placed mounting holes which will be there. So there are different varieties of those things which is available, which is the Android Raspberry Pi 3B plus. And what are those configurations? Which comes with a Broadcom processor, which is a BCM 2837B0. So and also a Cortex A3 A53 ARM8 processor, 64-bit SoC at 1.4 gigahertz speed, and also comes with a 1 GB SD RAM and 2.4 to 5 gigahertz IEEE access, 802.111.b, which is a for a wireless access, which is LAN. So which comes with a wireless LAN and Bluetooth, which IEEE 802.11.b. So gigabit Ethernet over USB. So we extended for a 40 pin IO will be carried out. Comes with a 4 USB 2.0 port and full size HDMI. It requires minimum 5.5 volts or 2.5 volts to heat uh, or to provide the power supply to this, right, power input. So power to Ethernet, so it's in verified through networking. The faster Ethernet, so it also comes with where you have the internet connectivity has to be done, not to the network to be added. So we require some cables, or which is going to be gigabit Ethernet with a USB. Right, so it's, the another thing is Raspberry 4, so Pi, which is 4, and then this will come with a guidebook, Raspberry Pi keyboard and mouse, HDMI to standard HDMI. So this will come with a Raspberry Pi 4 desktop kit is supplied with the guidebook, keyboard and mouse will can be attached to that. Micro HDMI to standard HDMI so that you can connect to a projector also. This will be requiring 15.3 volts to volts USB drive or USB-C power supply. Uh, it's a case, so that will come just for say a small size of packet sized device like this. So which has a board, right? So Raspberry Pi 3 4 case will be there at 16 GB NOPS with a patient, so Raspberry and micro SD card. The software platform typical, okay, so where you'll have every mobile device if you take, so the bottom thing is it'll be hardware. So but this hardware to communicate with that there is an operating system, but this operating system cannot directly communicate. With the help of a kernel which exists for every operating system, and the drivers which are there, which is going to facilitate all the devices to communicate, right? So above that, you'll have the frameworks which has been designed for a application, or it could be web-based application. And above that, you'll be having your own set of applications which are built in, or which you wanted have intentionally downloaded. So the software platforms which comes with iOS, iOS is nothing which is exclusively used for Jive and barrel charger it is. So software platforms, which are nothing but majorly set as an operating system. So the iOS comes with a operating system which is exclusively used by Apple. right? Which supports multitasking as well as supports the only device which is iPhone or iPad. So the next comes is a Windows. So Windows is uh, a phone operating system by Microsoft was introduced, but it was nowhere supported, and later they removed it, which is purely a multitasking operating system, and which also has some of the things which has been used, which is the Metro features of Metro, where modern UI and tile UI. So then another operating system is Android, which is more familiar in the market, where most of them can understand and try to build our own application. So which comes with a Google operating system based Linux kernel will be there. So which supports multitasking as well as software stack. And with the help of the coordinators, we will try to. Uh, so then comes is a Tizen. Okay, so the Tizen is an open source standard based platform, but we have not used most of them. So apart from that, Samsung, when they started, they had their own operating system called as Bada OS, and uh, Amazon has their own operating system called as Fire OS. So likewise, they were there, but most of them didn't got familiar. Very few were familiar which of them is Android and then iOS and then uh, the other one, which so Tizen architecture comes with a Linux again. So Linux kernel and device drivers which are there, so that the core of system will consist of these many files, which is for developing an application. So the first thing comes into mind is the portability is a key attribute, and there will be additional forces will be there. The necessity is the mother of innovation. So where we have to think in that direction and we have to put in a lot of effort, right? So innovation leads to more innovations, and research and innovation, engineering and technology together, which is said to be the next big thing which is required of better quality of life, and then sustainable. Arcade is very sustainable sense. Uh, can prolong for a longer days, and it can be used without tiring, right? So, and many things as such. What are the motivation for the application? Communication, network connectivity, utilization of power processing, single process application, better features, display and inputs. There'll be multiple UI options will be there, which is going to perform or gives you more interactive way to communicate. There'll be a set of sensor taking interaction applications to a different level. So the devices which has been used in various applications, one of them is healthcare, where you can say a portable ECG monitor or blood glucose monitor or blood pressure monitor. Telecom, mobile phones, or the Kindle, which is again from Amazon, Air, iPads or Pro touchpads, then tablet pieces. The third one is industrial automation, where handheld credit card machines, automotive diagnosis, and handheld terminals. The infotainment, so where it could be Lego mechanism or Mindstorm, personal navigation devices, as well as timings. So the application specific are like portable ECG machine, handheld oscilloscope, where generic it could be expandable, adaptable, and transferable. So where it could be carry portable devices, smartphones or the tablets or iPads or your smart watches. Smart Raspberry Pi is the motherboard for them. Okay. So that's it from my end for today's session. So any questions from anyone, please let me know.